feel like it's almost in the spot. Painterly, immediate kind of mode, whereas I think my work in particular the last show, there was a lot of like faith in the long run or something like that, or like the long arc of work, and I would get to a point that felt good, and then I would paint right over it because I was like, well, something will come of it if I continue working directly into it. And I think some of the work now is, you know, that thought is very much still there and it's in a lot of the paintings, but there's also the immediate thing that's happening, and like the, you know, the faith in that, in the hand and in the moment. And I think that the two of those ideas work throughout the body of work, kind of let the image emerge out of itself. But with that, like letting those two ways of working or being or whatever kind of be part of the whole thing. That's a, this was the jump up into the larger ones, but I think it looks nice with the light coming through from behind. The front of it is not where it should be, but I kind of abandoned it when I acquired these large frames. But this has been a size that I've been wanting to work with for a while. I think since the last Lodge show, it's like a good, like very bodily size. And then so before I had those, this one was like the jump up to being larger, and it felt like really, really small. But yeah, so this is just in the corner as a reminder of the things that don't work, you know? I've had a few mural projects that haven't actually come around. They haven't actually gone to full mural mode, but there's been a bunch of plans which have worked into the work in different ways. Some of them are in this show very specifically, but yeah, I was doing, I guess, some mural, and I ended up just drawing my hands on these larger pieces of paper, and that's just been up there. We had this whole like conversation about Morandi and the father of the person who I was visiting, who's like an older guy. It was so funny because they were making pasta. This is their lunch, and it was maybe a celebratory thing because there was like guests, so there was an excuse to do this. But it was like, this was their Sunday meal, and they have it every Sunday. And we were talking about going right after, and there's this like moment where he was like, it's so morbid or like boring or whatever he said. He was like, I hate Morandi. It's the same thing. And I was just like eating the pasta, and I was like, that's exactly the point. Like, you're eating, you do this, you have the same thing that keeps on happening over and over again. I don't know, I just thought it was so funny. And how it all feels together. This has been nice lately, kind of in the end of the lead up to the show has kind of forced me to focus in on individual paintings, which I think ultimately would have happened anyway, but it kind of forced me into looking at them individually as opposed to in a group. This palette has been the only palette that I've ever used. I made this in art school. I like painted, just like cut a piece of wood and painted it, and I took a lot of pride in like building up the like mixing part of it, so it's like raised up a little bit. But I was using all my leftover paint to do that. Now I save the paint and I use it as like the light that I mix the rest of the colors with, so they're all kind of like integrated. But this has this little knot in it that it's like a little stick my thumb through the palette. Cezanne is a big one. Yeah, I think for people who are interested in like the surface and the continuing that modernist tradition or whatever of it being a painting and not a representation of something. Yeah. Which I think is something, I think a lot of people might think that these are like landscape paintings, and I guess in a way they are, but it's more about what it is to be in relation to that, and not just like landscape or nature, but nature in the like grander sense. It's an installation. It's my sculpture piece, the soft towel with the heavy life crushing it,